Hello everyone, and welcome to this session part of Building the Future 2022. I hope that you're all having a fantastic event, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Mario Trueba Cantero, and I am the EMEA Power Platform Lead for KPMG. I've been working with the Power Platform ever since it came out, and as part of also being part of KPMG, I'm also Microsoft Business Applications MVP. Now, today I'm here to talk to you about how at KPMG we're using the Power Platform to tailor some of our customer needs and challenges. So I'm pretty sure that some of you guys might be familiar with some of the challenges that you can see now on the screen. When we start talking to our customers about the Power Platform, there are some topics or some, as we said on the slide, challenges that we have seen over and over again. If you were to ask me, Mario, which ones are the two most important ones, I will say the first one is the business one. So to realize what is the value of the technology, what can the Power Platform do for me and also for my business, what is the benefit of this technology. And the second one, and this one always comes up as soon as you start talking to IT, it's how do we control it? How can we make sure that the Power Platform is not going to become this technology that we're gonna start using in our company, and it's going to get out of control, like some Excels, for example, that we can see in some cases. The good news is that there are ways of managing all these challenges, and actually Microsoft has done a really good job in making sure that in reassuring companies that they can, all these things can be under control, especially the governance one. But what about, realizing the value of the technology? What about finding out those use cases that can really shine the light on this new tech? And this is really where KPMG can help you. So when we started working with the Power Platform, we realized that we needed to have, we really needed to meet you where you were. Okay, so we wanted to create 3 different propositions that will really talk to you and that will really meet you where you were. The first one that we started working on was our realized proposition. Our realized proposition was a proposition that was tailored, and I will go into detail in a second, but it's tailored for organizations that they already have some knowledge of the Power Platform. They might have some seeded licenses that they are using. However, they haven't really taken it to the next level. They're still on the verge deciding whether this is the technology for them or not. So they do need our help to kind of like accelerate that journey and to discover really if the technology is fit for them. Then obviously with Realize, the outcome of the Realize is to have a use case built by us with you in production. So therefore it does take time to work on it, and the time is between 20 days to 30 days, or it can be longer. So we had some customers that said, Mario, well, I'm not ready yet to commit to a 30-day discovery or realize sessions with you because I still don't know if the technology is something for me. I want to know more about this technology. And this is where we created Visualize. Visualize, and I will go into detail now, is just a discovery. It is the discovery phase of Realize, which we have made it into a 2 to 5 day engagement, so we can show you what the Power Platform is all about and get you all excited about it. When I say excited, I mean get the business excited, but also IT excited, because we do need both in the same room. And then the last proposition that we started working on, and the one that it has been more successful lately, is our stabilize and scale proposition. So when we were talking to established organizations or established teams that they were already using the Power Platform about our realized proposition, the feedback that we received from them was, Mario, what you're telling me is fantastic, but I do have 2 problems. The first one is that I do need to be able to control this technology. And then the second one was, I want to be able to move from 20, 30, 40 applications to thousands. Can you help me with that? And that was where we started working on creating stabilize and scale, and the 2 pillars that form the base of that proposition, which is the 3-tier community structure and also the 8-point adoption framework, which we will see in this presentation. Now, moving on to our Visualize, as I said, it's a short engagement. We're just talking about 2 to 5 days of learning what the Power Platform is, accompanied by KPMG. For example, on day one, we will show you what the technology is, which are the parts of the Power Platform. We will also explain you how other companies within your sector are using the technology and some of the use cases that we have seen in the industry. We will bring IT and the business together to make sure that we are, we're becoming that bridge between those two parts of your organization to make sure that they are aligned into what they want to take out of this technology. Then on days 2 to 5, it all depends. If you do want to get hands-on, then we're more than happy to set up either a hackathon, or we can also set up an app in a day, which is a little bit shorter. So you can really get to touch the technology and to work with the technology. As I said, it might be a 2-day engagement, or it might be a 5-day engagement. We have had different versions of it, but the outcome of it is always the same. Companies fully understand what can the Power Platform give them, and they are ready to make the decision whether they want to go ahead or not. Now, the next proposition that I talked to you about, and the one that we started working on, the original proposition, if you want to call it like that, it's our Realize proposition. And as I mentioned, this one is tailored for organizations that are already working with a Power Platform. They might have some seeded licenses, but they do need a little bit more help to accelerate the journey. So what we do in Realize is we break it down into 5 different phases, with and actually, even though we have some days on the phases, it all depends on the customer and the pace that the customer wants to take. We normally start the engagement with an initial share phase, which is very similar to what we do in Visualize. So getting everyone aware of what is the technology and what is what they can do with it. We can also do a training exercise during those 5 days, and this is, for example, something that might extend this phase. At the end of the share phase, where you will know everything that you need to know about how the Power Platform can help you, we will then move on to the understanding and identifying value phase. And for me, these two are the key phases of our Realize proposition, because this is where we will really get to know you and understand what is your strategy, where are you in your industry, who are the main stakeholders within your organization that can benefit of the use of the Power Platform, what are the things that they are on top of their mind, and also we will work with you to kind of find out those use cases that are really important for you, and those use cases that we both believe that the Power Platform can bring a lot of benefit. And we will do this with you. I mean, all these engagements, we do need your collaboration 100%. Once we have find out those use cases, we will then pick 1 or 2, depending on time, depending on how much you want to put in. And we will then move on to the build and readiness phase, which is where we will be building those use cases with you. And this is also something really important for us. We want to be doing this engagement with you. We want you to get some guys to build these applications with us, so we can carry on that training that we started on the share phase. At the end of that, which can take between 10 to 20 days, you will have that application on your production environment, and you will also have, if you didn't have before, a light governance touch. So we will talk to you about setting up environments, setting up DLP policies, those kind of things that are important before putting anything in production. Then we will then move on to the impact phase, which is where we will sit down and have a recap on what has been the engagement and how we can take this forward. So Visualize, Realize. Then it is time to move on to the third proposition. Stabilize and Scale, it was born, as I mentioned earlier, because of the necessity of going from 20 to 30 applications or automations to thousands, but also doing it in the right way. And some of you might be hearing what I'm saying, and it's like, well, this is where he's going to talk about the Center of Excellence. And yes, indeed, we are going to be talking about the Center of Excellence. Our Stabilize and Scale is our journey to the Center of Excellence. And we like to do it a little bit differently, okay? Of course, as part of Realize, as you have seen, we do have a light governance touch. So we do install the Center of Excellence Starter Kit, and we start talking to you about some of the things that we then expand on our 8-point adoption framework. Now, in order to be able to build a successful Center of Excellence, we do need, in our opinion, two things. To have the needs to secure your Power Platform deployment, but also you do need demand. Okay? Because it is very, very simple to set up a Center of Excellence that is only going to manage 20 applications and is only going to have to worry about 3 or 4 users that are using the technology. What happens when you open that technology to all the citizen developers? What happens when you go from 20 to 30 applications or automations to thousands in multiple regions? Okay? So before we can start talking about the Center of Excellence, we need to worry about those two key things for us, which is the demand and managing that demand and making sure that you do have this internal application factory that is delivering value to your business, and also that they're doing it in the right measures with everything under control. So in terms of how do we manage demand, what we do propose is establishing communities internally that will then use the Power Platform. And we do so by creating this 3-layer of makers, digital cells, and digital studios. And these are the ones that will be giving you value to your business with the Power Platform. The first one is obviously the maker community. The maker community, and it's the citizen developer community that Microsoft calls it. And these are the people within your organization that will be using the technology for personal productivity, maybe in the default environment or maybe on an environment that it's specifically set up for them. People that potentially might not be using premium licenses, they might be only using Office 365 licenses, but these are the ones that are using the technology to get rid of some of those Excels that they might be using. Okay. Key thing with the maker community is that they build applications for themselves. Therefore, they support those applications because they are the ones using them. They might share it with some other people, and this is where the concept of a digital cell comes in. Because on a digital cell, what we do is we establish specific cells that will be delivering value to a specific department. Why do we keep it like that? Because we want to create cells that know what that department is doing and know what the business requirements are going to be. Therefore, it's much easier for them to build those applications or those automations. Then what happens when we need to start using the Power Platform and building applications for different departments, or even global applications? What happens when an application goes completely global? This is where the digital studios comes in. And the digital studios are the normal IT teams that we are all used to. Now, all these 3 communities, they are all in constant communication with each other. And we do so by multiple means. For example, we have an ideas portal that everyone from these communities have access to, and they can actually start seeing how some of the ideas that the business are throwing to them, and they can pick and choose who's going to be working on some of those. Now, this is your application factory, your internal application factory. These are the communities that are going to be delivering value to your business. Before these communities can start working, we do need to make sure that we are securing everything. And the way that we secure it is with our 8-point adoption framework. These are all the, if you want to call it like that, our checklist every time that we do start a Power Platform implementation. So we talk to you about how you can manage your environments, data points, connectors, DLP policies, how you can nurture that creator communities as you have seen earlier with the 3-tier communities, but also putting focus on the people that will be using the technology. So therefore, we do help you set up user groups internally of people that will be using the applications that your creators are creating, and making sure that there is a connection between those 2 teams. Then we also help you set up some standards for your organization. So usability standards, user experience standards, documentation standards, to make sure that every single digital cell that you have or maker developer is using those, and all the applications that are within your deployment look and feel exactly in the same way. Then from an IT, from a governance point of view, from a monitoring point of view, we have 4 points like monitoring, and this is where we do extend the Center of Excellence that Microsoft, the fantastic Center of Excellence that Microsoft provides. Then we also help you with AML and releases. And this is where, for example, if an application has been created by a maker, how can we make sure that if that application goes wild and completely global because that person starts sharing it, how do we make sure that we can control those kind of scenarios and maybe give that application to a digital studio so they can do the proper deployment. Also in terms of testing and auditing, we do provide training for those communities and support, and also as part of the AML, we do test the applications that go into production. So all the things that you do need to be aware when working with the Power Platform within an organization. And this is where, you know, all things start coming together, right? We believe that as soon as you do have this 3-tier community, this 8-point ocean framework all working together, then is when we can start talking about the center of excellence. So you have your makers, your digital cells, digital studios, and then what we put on top is that center of excellence that is going to make sure that all this structure, all this 8-point ocean framework, all these communities are working together and can carry on working together. And this is where we then unleash the full power of the center of excellence. So as you can see, heavily focused on governance, on, you know, keeping everything up and running with the digital studios, digital cells, and makers doing what they do best. So this is the approach that we do follow. And one of the examples that I bring you today is a case study in a specific case study in financial services, and this is where we work with our Realize proposition. So the second one that I show you, the one where we work with the business to find out some of those use cases and to really bring the value of the technology or demonstrate the value of the technology. So in this case, we didn't do it on our own. We actually did it with our colleagues from Microsoft, and I have to give all big kudos to the team that delivered a fantastic story on this specific customer. So the challenge that this customer had was that they had several applications that they were running out of licensing. They were end user computing applications, and they were running out of support. So they needed help to actually re-platform a lot of those applications. And we're talking between 200 and 300 of these applications. So the team at this customer, they were not 100% sure if the Power Platform was something for them, which is where they called KPMG and Microsoft to help them discover if the Power Platform was the technology for their future. And what we did was we then divided ourselves into 3 different streams. We had one stream that was a POC build stream. So this stream was responsible for delivering at the beginning some up in a days, as I show you on the visualize and realize propositions, some up in a days doing some analysis of some of the use cases. So all of out of those 200, 300, we picked the most complicated or the most complex one, and then doing the design, helping them designing those use cases, having a look at whether it was possible or not, or it was worth it or not to use the Power Platform to rebuild some of those use cases. And I got to tell you, we found some of those that it was not worth it. And then what we did was then we moved on to the build phase on week number 3 and 4. And this is where we actually build those use cases with their developers. So it was also a really good training exercise, and also showing them the value of the technology. Then we had a second stream, which was the business value stream. And this business value stream was the one responsible for actually having a look at the wider Power Platform demand within the organization, and to really showcase, you know, what are the best use cases that you can bring to the table. Not only looking at those 200 or 300 that we had already, but also some of the ones that we have seen from the industry. And the last stream was, this team already had a center of excellence. So what we did was we used our Center of Excellence maturity assessment in order to make sure that, you know, with all the things that we had seen in other customers and with our approach to the Center of Excellence, that, you know, they had all the content and all the material that they needed to carry on moving forward. So in summary, at KPMG, we have developed a huge variety of Power Platform capabilities that go from building a Center of Excellence to help you with delivery and to support, and more importantly, to really help you understand the value of this technology and bring you some of the use cases thanks to our deep industry knowledge of our consultants. We have spent heavily on the technology, and we have a variety of tools and accelerators that support us on this on these engagements, like the Center of Excellence operating model, our Power Platform maturity assessment, or our models for establishing and managing Power Platform communities. So I guess the last question that I'm going to leave you to is, are you ready for the next step? Are you ready to build the future together? Thank you very much indeed. It has been an absolute honor, and I do hope that you enjoy the rest of the event. Bye-bye.